Shalom and welcome to this week's Hebrew class. And as we pass through the book of Yehuchanan or John, we are now up to chapter 12, verses 26 to 30. So let us begin, and I hope you've been blessed by these lessons in understanding the scriptures more and just understanding Hebrew. And of course, we have here the Nakud, the valve markings, and some useful resources, which I find very helpful. And a chart on the best way to adapt the vowel markings to the pronunciation. So let us now begin. And of course, we're in verse 26, and it is represented by a kaf and a vav. And we know kaf has a value of 20, and a vav, being the sixth letter of the alphabet, has a value of 6. So let's quickly go through the letters. Vav, Aleph, Yod, Shin, Kaf, Yod, Chet, Fei, Sade Sofit, Lamed, Shin, Resh, Tav, Nun, Yod, Yod, Lamed, Kaf Sofit, Aleph, Chet, Resh, Yod, Vav, Vayet, Aleph, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Hey, Yod, Hey, Shin, and Mem Sofit. And now let us read it. The ish, which is and, a man. Ki, that. Chafetz, chafetz, as we see there. If we look down here, chafetz is a kol verb to want, to desire. So it means desires. Le sharateni, le sharateni, to serve me, as it says down here, to serve me. Yelek, yelek. Now we know that comes from halak, meaning to walk, to go, and yelek is like shall go. It's a incomplete action. Shall go. Acharai, acharai, and it means after me. With the kamat and the yod, it's like me. U va'asher, and in that, or in where, because we know a share can be where, which, that, whom, and in where, a yea, I am. And if we remember, that's the actual name that Yahweh gave to himself when Moshe was confronted with him and he asked, who are you? And he says, Ayeh, Asher, Ayeh. Same term, I am. And then Sham, meaning there. So if anyone desires to serve me, he shall follow after me, and where I am, there. Right, and now I've also given you sharet, which is a PL verb, to serve, to assist. And then I've given you sharat, which is a masculine noun meaning server, attender, or caretaker. So let's move to the next part. And now we're going to read it without any help. Ve'ish ki chafetz le sharateni yelek acharei u va'asher eye sham. And let's move to part B. And again, we have a yod, a hey, a yod, a hey, a gimel, a nun, a mem sofit, a mem, a shin, a resh, a tav, a yod, a vav, an aleph, a shin, a resh, yod, shin, resh, tav, nun, yod, yod, kaf, bayet, because of the dot, dalet, nun, vav, aleph, vayet, and yod. Remembering that this vav has a dot in it, so it's an u sound. So let's have a look. Yiyeh, meaning shall be. Gam, also. Me sharati, sharati. Me sharati. Sharati. And as we can see, gum means also, and then Misharat, meaning a noun, meaning servant, and the E at the end is my, also my servant. Va'asher, and whom, because remember, asher can be what, which, that, whom, who, and whom, because we're talking about the servant, Yesharateni, Yesharateni. Now we've got to, because of the yod, we know it's an incomplete action, so it's a verb, shall serve me. And then we got Yekab de nu. Shall, that's the yod. Kabdenu is shall honor. He shall honor. And then the nu at the end can be him. He shall honor him. And then we've got Avi, my father. And where I am, there shall be my servant also. One who serves me brings honor to my father. That's how it's translated. Again, we've got the noun, mesharet, meaning servant, manservant, attendant. And then we have kibed, PL verb, to give honor, to respect, to give esteem. And we have kavad, which is a kal verb, to weigh heavily upon. And of course we recognize also we've got kavod, which is like esteem or honor or glory, right? Okay, now let's read that. And it is Yiye gam me sharati va'asher ye sharateni ye kab de nu avi. And moving on. And now we're in 27. So we see here we've got a Kaf 20, Zion 7. And we have an Ayin Tav, Hey Nun, Veyet Hey, Lamed Hey, Nun Fe, Shin Yod, Vav Mem, Hey Aleph, Mem Resh, Hey Zada Yod, Lamed Nun Yod, Aleph Veyet, Yod Mem, Nun Safit, Hey Shin, Ayin, and Hey. And we have Atta. Right, don't be confused with that. Atta with the ayin means now. Niv hala, nivala. So what's niv hal mean? Niv hal is a verb to be alarmed, to be frightened, to panic. So now is alarmed. So in other words, even Yeshua is feeling the alarm in his soul, right? So and then we have nafshi, meaning my soul. Now is alarmed my soul. Uma, and what? Ma normally means what? O mar, say I, or am I saying? Because this looks like a participle, which means saying, without the extra information, but it means am I saying? Ha sileni, hasileni, rescue me. So what am I saying? Or, and what say I? Rescue me. Now how do we get that? When we see down here, hitziul is a verb to rescue, to save. And we have avi, meaning my father, because we know av is father. Min, from, ha sha'ah, ha sha'ah. So what is sha'ah? Means hour, the hour, from the hour. Now my soul has become troubled. What shall I say? My father, rescue me from the hour? So let's read that. Ata, niv hala, nafshi, uma, omar, ha, sileni, avi, min, ha, sha'ah. And now part B. And we have a Hey, Zion, an Aleph for Tav, an Aleph for Kaf Sofit, an Ayin Lamed, Kaf, Nun Sofit, Hey Gimel, Ayin Tav, Yod Lamed, Shin Ayin, Hey, Zion Aleph Tav. And it is Hazot, meaning this. Ak can mean but. Al Ken, about so. If we look down here, al is a prep for about, of, over, on, and ken is an adjective meaning so, sincerely, honestly. Often translated as therefore, or in this case, about so. Or if we look down here, al can be for this reason, but for this reason. And we have higati, I have come. And if we look down there, higia, right, which is similar to the word up there, higia is a verb to arrive, to come. So it about so I have come. And then la sha'a, meaning to, that's the la, the hour. And then we have hazot, meaning this. So the hour, this. But for this reason, I came to this hour. Now let us read it. Hazot, ak, al ken, higati, la sha'a, hazot. And moving on. We're in verse 28 now. We've got a kaf and a chet, which is 20. And, of course, chet is the 8th letter, so it's 8. And we have an aleph, a veit, a yod, a pei this time because of the dot, aleph resh, aleph tav, shin mem, kaf sofit, vav yod, zade aleph, kuf, vav, lamed, mem, nun, sofit, hey, shin, mem, yod, mem, sofit. And let's read it. Avi, meaning my father. Pa'er, magnify, pa'er. Let's have a look. Pe'er, right? This one's pe'er, which is a PL verb to praise, to beautify, to magnify. So it comes from that, right? Pa'er, meaning magnify. Et, grammar marker, shemeka, shemeka. Your name. Well, we know Shem means name, right? So it's your name. Vayetse, and went out. Because we know Yatsa means to go out, right? And with the Vav, it's like a completed action, and went out. Kol, meaning a voice. Min, from. Ha-shemayim. Hashemayim, from the heavens. And this is the verse now. My Father, glorify your name. A voice came forth from the heavens. And again, I've repeated yatsa, which is a kol verb to go out, to emanate, to emerge, to break out. Right. And now let's read it. Avi. Pa'er et shemeka, vayetse kol min ha-shemayim. And now we're in part B, which is an aleph, a mem, a resh, a pei, an aleph, a resh, a tav, a yod, a vav, an aleph, a fei this time, aleph, resh, ayin, vav, dalet. The ayin is in white, so it's not pronounced. Omer, which is like a participle meaning saying, so a voice from the heavens, saying, Pe'arti, I have glorified it, I've esteemed it, I've magnified it. All right? Va'afa'er, Va'afa'er, and I will esteem it. Again, we've got the fa'er or pa'er in there, right? Odd. Odd can mean again. If we look down here, odd can mean, as an adjective, can more. It can mean more or still, again, or yet. So I will magnify it still again, we could say. And then from the previous verse, from the heavens, saying, I have glorified it, and I shall glorify it again, or yet. And let's read it. Omer, pe'arti, va'afaer, od. And we're in now 29, which is a kaf, value of 20, and a tet, a value of 9, being the ninth letter of the alphabet. And then we have a vav, hey, ayin, mem, sofit, hey, ayin, mem, dalet, yod, mem, sofit, shin, mem, hey, shin, mem, ayin, vav, vav, yod, aleph, mem, resh, vav, resh, ayin, mem, sofit, nun, shin, mem, and ayin. And we read the ha'am, and the people. Is people, right? Ha'omdim. Ha'omdim, standing. So how do we get that? Because we know amad is a kal verb to stand, to rise, to stay, to cease. Right? And so literally it means to stand, right? So because it's omdim, it's like a participle meaning standing, and the people standing, shama, there, shamu. Now we can see that we've got a shama in there. Shamu, meaning they heard, or they were listening, right? Vayomru, and they said. Again, the vav at the end, the u is they, right? And they said, because we got amar there. And with these prefixes that we know it's a completed action, they said. Ra'am, thunder. Interesting that ra'am means thunder. If we look down there, ra'am is a kal verb to thunder, and ra'am also is a masculine noun for thunder, roar, which means thunder-like or rumble. And then we have nishma, we heard. So thunder we heard. The nun in this case is like a prefix saying we. Nishma, we heard. The people standing there heard and said, it is thundering. All right, now let's read it. The ha'am, ha'omdim, shama, sham'u, va'yomru, ra'am, nishma. And part B. And we have a vav and a lef, a chet, a resh, a yod, a mem sofit, and a lef, a mem, a resh, a vav, a mem, lamed, a lef, kaf sofit, dalet, bayet, resh, and a lef, tav, and vav. So now let's read that. Va'acherim. Va'acherim, and others, because acher means other, so this is plural, so it's others, and others, amru, again, they, the u, they said, malak, a messenger, meaning an angel, right? Diber, spoke, ito, it can mean with, so therefore we got with, and then the O is him, with him. It is thundering, but others said, a messenger or angel spoke to him. And down here I've got acher, which as an adjective is another, other, or different. And of course, let's not mistake it from acharei, which is a preposition meaning after. Right, now let's read that. Va'acherim amru malak diber ito. Then we have lamed, which has a value of 30, and we're in verse 30. And then we have a vav, yod, ayin, nun sofit, yod, hey, vav, but it's a new sound, shin, ayin, vav, yod, aleph, mem, resh, lamed, aleph, hey, yod, hey, kuf, vav, lamed, hey, zayin, hey, lamed, mem, ayin, nun, yod. Of course, by doing it fairly quickly, we are just getting very accustomed to the individual letters, so we don't think too much when we read. Va, ya, an. And he, because there's no pronoun, answered. So, if we look down here, na is a kal verb to answer, to reply, to respond. So, of course, we haven't got the hey at the end, but its root word is na, right? And these are prefixes to tell us that it's a completed action. And he answered, Yahushua, or Yahusha, Vayomar, and he said. Again, whenever there's no pronoun, it's a he, right? And he said, Lo, not. Haya, we know that means was. Hakol, the voice. Hazeh, this, and then le ma'ani, for my sake. If we look down here, le ma'an is a prep for the sake of, for the benefit of, in order that to, and it can often be translated so that. Right, so now let us read that. Firstly, in the normal English, it's Yeshua answered and said, this voice were not for my sake. So now let us read that. And it is Vaya'an Yahushua Vayomar Lo Haya Hakol Hazeh Le'ma'ani. And part B of 30. And we have a kaf, a yod, an aleph, a mem safit. Lamed, mem, ayin, nun, kaf, and mem safit. And it is key. And as you can see here, key together with im is often translated as but. And then we have le, ma, an, kem. Le, ma, an, kem. Now we said from the previous, le, ma, an is for the sake. And then, of course, with the kem at the end, it's your in the plural, for your sake, but for your sake. It was not for my sake, but for your sake. And let's read that. Ki im le ma'an kem. And that brings us to our revision, and hopefully as we go through the revision, we can see just how much have we gathered so far. So let's begin. And first we have a kaf, value of 20, and a vav, value of 6. So we're in verse 26. Va'ish, and a man, ki, that, chafetz, desires, le, shareteni, to serve me, it's a verb, yelek, shall go, acharev, after me, uva'a, share, and in that, or in where, yea, I am, sham, there. So let's have a look. And a man that desires to serve me shall go after me, and in where I am, there. And then we have, yea, shall be. Gam also, me sharati, shall my servant, also my servant. Va'asher, and whom it could be, and whom, or yeshareteni, shall serve me, ye kabdenu, shall esteem him, is the new at the end. Avi, my father, shall be also my servant, and whom shall serve me. Literally, it's he shall honor, literally him. The new is like him. Avi, my father. The new with the dagesh in it always seems to be the singular, meaning him or it, like that. So, and then we have a kaf, which has a value of 20, and Zion, which has a value of 7, and we have a ta, now, niv ha la. Niv Allah is alarmed. Nafshi, my soul. Uma, and what? Omar, which is a participle, which could be, am I saying, because it's got like saying, or say I, which is how I translate it. Hazileni. Hazileni, rescue me. Avi, my father. Min, from. Ha, sha'ah, the hour. And then translation, now is alarmed my soul. And what say I? Rescue me, my father, from the hour. And we're in part B of 27, and it's hazot, meaning this. Ak, but. Al ken, about so, or for this reason. Higati, I've come. La sha'ah, to the hour. Hazot, this. And then we have this, but. About so I've come, to the hour, this. And then we have a kaf, value of 20, chet, value of 8, and we have avi, my father. Pa'er, mean esteem, magnify. Et, grammar marker, shemeka, your name. Vayetse, and went forth, or went out. Kol, a voice. Min, from. Ha shamayim, the heavens. My father magnified, grammar marker, your name, and went out a voice from the heavens. Omer, saying, Pe'arti, I have magnified. Va'a, fa'er, and I magnify, or I will magnify. Od, again, meaning more, or again. So what do we got? Saying, I have glorified it, and I will esteem it. Again, that's normally how it's translated. And again, we have a kaf 20, tet 9, so we're in 29. The ha'am, and the people, ha'omdim, the ones standing. Shama, there. Sham'u, they heard. Va'yomru, and they said. Ra'am, thunder, or a sound like thunder, right? Nishma, we heard. And the people standing there, they heard, and they said, thunder, we heard. And va'acherim, and others, amru, they said, malak, a messenger, an angel, diber, spoke, ito, with him. And others, they said, a messenger spoke with him. And then we have, finally we turn to Lamed, which is the value of 30. And we have Vaya'an, and he answered. And who's answering? Yahushua. Vayomer, and he said, Lo not, Haya was, Hakol, the voice, Hazeh, this, Le ma'ani, for my sake. And he answered, Yahushua, and he said, Not was the voice, this, for my sake. And finally, we're in part B of 30, and we're ki, and then im. So ki im can best be described as but. And then we have le ma'an kem, meaning for your sake. For your sake, for your benefit, but for your sake. So the but is ki im. Just try to remember that. And it's never put together, which is interesting. It's always ki and then im is in front of the next word. So a lot of people might say it could mean for if, but it actually means but. Right, now we come again to remind us, what do we call the different terms, the vowel markings? And of course the dot above the letter is called a cholam, and we saw that in all the participles. It's an O sound, and we see it in the first vowel sound, cholam. And then we have a shiva. Now shiva can be as a vocal shiva, or it can be a silent shiva, and we have to determine that as we learn it. And then we have se-gol. So here's your first vowel, and it's se. So it's that E sound. And then we have zere. So it's a longer E sound. Often translated as EI, but I like to just say it's a longer E sound. Ze. And then we have a pa-tuck. First vowel sound, pa-tuck. It's a short A sound. And then we have kamatz. Kamatz. So it's like it's got that extra stroke, tells us it's a longer A sound. So it's kamatz. Okay. And finally, just to help with the numbering. So let's have a look. Of course, we went through them, and let's look at some of the higher numbers which we won't come across too often. It's good to remember them. The Tzadeh, well, let us go to this line because we haven't done that. Lamed was 30, Kaf was 20, and Yod was 10. And then we had Mem 40, which we'll come across, Nun, which is 50, Samek, which is 60, Ayin, which is 70. They've got Pev, but we call it Fe or Pei is 80, and Zadeh is 90. And again, I've repeated the resources, because with the resources you can practice. And they are very good resources. So we like to thank you for joining us. And we do hope that these lessons are very beneficial and not too difficult to follow, even if you're relatively new to the Hebrew. So we just like to wish you a Shavua Tov, which is a good 7, a good week. And may you be blessed through these classes. Amen.